a little bit about the CWPP. And first of all, what does CWPP stand for?
So CWPP stands for Community Wildfire Protection Plan. A city will put in for, we've been working with this state level, a grant to develop a CWPP. Okay. In that plan are future requirements of your desires and needs. And so when you put in for future grants, it ties into your CWPP. In fact, we were told if you need something in the future and it's not in your CWPP, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. So the CWPP is the big umbrella.
Yes.
That covers everything. And so you throw everything in there, including the kitchen sink. I
Exactly.
Gotcha.
You make sure everything that you think you're going to ask for in the next umpteen years is in your CWPP, because then when you go for a grant, the first thing they're going to do is pull your CWPP and say, it's not in here.
So is it a 20-year plan and then it backs down, or is it?
I think it's a 3 to 5 year plan.
Oh, even shorter than that. Okay,
yeah,
very good.
It gets updated.
Sure.
We're not a big city. We're not even incorporated. And so for us to put in for grant monies to get a CWPP, that was never going to happen. But a group out of Flagstaff realized that there were a lot of small unincorporated areas within Coconino County that needed a CWPP. And so they went and approached, guessing the state or federal, to get a grant, and they were given it. Nice. And so they were here last fall, if folks don't realize that this is ongoing. They were here last fall to do an assessment and to talk with folks, and they actually gave us a survey to fill out. And so they were very appreciative. In fact, they said Forest Lakes was one of the most responsive communities. That's why I think the Firewise program is going to be successful, because there are a lot of folks in the community that are willing to work and make the community better. The CWPP, they take our inputs in. They're going to have action plans based on their observations, their discussions with folks here, and then they'll also have this list of what we'd like to have in our wish list for Christmas for the next, umpteen years as far as grants. And, the tree thinning program will obviously be a part of that. Maybe even additional fire equipment. That's one of the things that I don't think a lot of folks realize in Forest Lakes is that our water department is very, very, very unique in that they have the leak sensors that they have. Property starts using water when it shouldn't, or to an extent that is above norm. They'll go inspect it, and if they need to, they'll shut your water off to prevent, just needless amounts of water being wasted and also running up a huge tab. That's kind of unique to Forest Lakes.
So what else goes into the CWPP then?
So the CWPP, the draft version of that is going to come out it's due to come out at the end of March.
And is that something that's going to be available to the public to review?
Yes.
And they should?
So the real interesting part of our CWPP is Forest Lakes is going to be one chapter of that report.
Oh, wow.
And that's kind of unique, because then we're going to be able to see what everybody else put in their CWPP.
Sure.
And so during this review process in March and April, I think we're going to get 2 weeks to review it. The review period is going to end the 17th of April, and then they're going to look at final release later in the year.
So is there going to be a meeting or a presentation when this draft comes out so people are aware of it and they're able to come and give their comment?
That's a good idea.
So
the CWP is going to be, part of our action plan for the Firewise program is going to be based on the CWPP, and it's going to be based on the assessment that DFFM, Department of Forestry and Fire Management, they've got to come out here now and do an assessment, and those two pieces are going to meld together and make our 3-year plan to get us going.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think we'll see if that generates another program that FLOA will run and fund. But I think, the 3 that we have will go a long way as far as meeting our action plan for this first rendition, the first 3 years. And that's what I want to talk to the state liaison person about is based on his experience, how do we get folks to, feel comfortable while thinning out their property? That's going to be the tricky area. We'll start with the little dinky sapling shouldn't be there, but then how do you get to where that's a healthy tree, but it's got to go,
Right.
That's going to be the tough one.
Yeah, or especially if it's something that is because of the family legacy.
It's just the 12 around.
All right.
So yeah, the Firewise and CWPP are really tied together. And in fact, I notified the folks in Flagstaff that we started a CWPP program, and they thought that was amazing as well. I think it's going to work out really well for the community. It's great timing, seeing the CWPPs coming out right now. We'll start the Firewise program and get stuff rolling.
Right.